What's up guys, it's Average Ol making average content for the average viewer, and today I want to talk to you guys about a game that has up until now pretty much flown under my radar. I have been thinking about trying it out for the past couple of months whilst it's been gaining traction, but I have yet to pull the trigger until now, and that game is World War III. Now, you might remember this game from a couple of years ago when it absolutely flopped, and since then it has been removed from the Steam store and completely revamped and turned into what I think is possibly one of the best modern shooters I have played in a very long time. I know that a lot of you guys are Battlefield fans, and I am myself a huge Battlefield fan, and I still really enjoy Battlefield 2042. However, whilst it is a little bit more stale at the moment, I am more inclined to try out a few more games just to keep things fresh with what I am playing. And what I've stumbled across with World War III is nothing short of a miracle for me at the moment. For like the last year, I have felt like gaming has become so stale, and trying out this game has been so refreshing and so fun. Now, for those of you who are wondering, at the moment this is exclusive to PC, however there is going to be a console launch, and in March the game is going free to play. I am unsure whether that means free to play for just PC, it might also include a free to play beta for consoles as well. Now before I go too far into the video, if you do want to see me play any of these games live, then follow me at twitch.tv/averageol, and also if you want to chat and hang out with like-minded people, then follow my Discord, a link to that will be in the description. So the first thing I want to talk about is the gunplay in World War III. The gunplay is honestly tighter than a fucking nun's purse strings. The guns have a certain weight and feel to them, and there's such a big distinction between an assault rifle, a battle rifle, a sniper rifle, and an SMG. Coming from games like Battlefield and Call of Duty, where every gun seems to be played as if you're running it like an SMG. Everyone runs around extremely fast, and it doesn't matter what gun class you have, you build it so that it has a fast ADS and a fast movement speed, so you can just run around and charge around like a headless chicken. But in World War III, that is not the case. Depending on what gun class you are choosing will completely dictate your playstyle within this game, and it is honestly so much fun. Every gunfight you take seems a lot more methodical and a lot more tactical because of this system. The weight, the recoil, the way that I can describe it is very similar to Battlefield in terms of there is a lot more recoil than say COD, but there's not as much recoil as there is in games like Insurgency Sandstorm or Tarkov or Squad. It really feels like that perfect middle ground between switching between a more arcade style shooter and heading more towards a more tactical route. This is furthered by the movement in the game. The movement is completely dictated by the weight of your kit. This means that what you take into the battlefield with you determines how heavy your character is. You can choose a helmet, you can choose different levels of armor in terms of your plating, whether that be Kevlar, which lets through bullets quite easily but is very light and maneuverable, all the way up to a steel plate, which obviously makes you heavier but at the same time gives you a lot more protection from bigger caliber bullets. This, coupled with the fact that once you have, say, a heavy AR, and then if you want to take an RPG with that, well, that's going to make your weight absolutely skyrocket, making your character extremely slow. On the other hand, if you want to take like a submachine gun with no helmet and only a Kevlar chest rig, well, you're going to be extremely fast and maneuverable, and you will be able to sort of more AD strafe a little bit better. However, there is a certain amount of weight to your character anyway. You cannot just spam AD like you can in other games, Battlefield. But instead, as you move, you can physically feel your character having to slow down as they change direction, and what I think this does is it means that the game is a lot more tactical and slower paced in certain areas. That's not to say that the game is only tactical though, because the way that the movement system works, if you do want to run and gun, there is options for that by making your character a lot more light. Now this is all complemented by the seriously in-depth customization system that lies within World War III. For example, you can customize your outfit to the absolute hilt. If you want to change your trousers, your gloves, your jacket, your neck warmer, your bloody glasses for fuck's sake, it's all doable. The only thing is, if you take your helmet off, for example, well then you're going to get one tapped every time to the head. And if you choose a heavier helmet that's got more protection, then that means that you're not going to get one tapped, but you are going to sacrifice that movement. Again, everything just feels like there's a real choice to be made, and there's trade-offs everywhere you go, and the customization in this game seriously complements all of that. And this is carried on in great depth into the gun customization. You'll be able to change your barrel length, choose from a plethora of low zoom to medium zoom to high zoom optics, change your ammo type, change your mag type, all of these things that you would come to expect from a first-person shooter in 2021, plus more. I want you to think of Modern Warfare's level of customization, except everything that you add to the gun makes the gun feel exponentially different and more suited to your playstyle. And then on top of that, there are more sort of cosmetic changes you can make to your gun if you want to change what the stock looks like, if you want to change what the rail system looks like, if you want to change what sort of outer barrel you have. This is all possible. So those of you who are absolutely addicted to gun porn like me will have so much fun making such unique builds. When you find a gun on the floor that someone has dropped, I can guarantee you that you will never find the same two guns. They might share a few attachments, however, because of the level of customization, you'll be very hard pushed to find someone with the exact same taste of you. And then on top of that, there are so many different camouflages within this game, and each of those camos can be applied to separate parts of the guns. If you want a gold pistol grip but everything else black, then go ahead and do it. If you only want the scope to be black and everything else camoed out, that is fine too. The level of customization in this game is something that I, up until now, have really struggled to find, and it's something that I've always craved in a first-person shooter. Now, just quickly, I'll go over the two modes that come with the game. The first of which is Team Deathmatch. Now, obviously, I don't need to explain to you how Team Deathmatch works. It's essentially the first team to like 50 points, is what I can tell so far. And then also, once you've won a round, you have to win 2 rounds in a row to win that game. This smaller game mode is a lot quicker and a lot more fast-paced than the primary game mode, but it does give you that option, which I think a lot of modern shooters are lacking at the moment. You can just chill out and have an easy TDM game, which I absolutely fucking love. It is so refreshing at the moment to be able to do that. Now, the primary game mode in this game is something called Tactical Ops, and that's essentially like the new version of Conquest in Battlefield 2042. The thing is, though, you cannot play it like Battlefield 2042. You cannot just run around and roam around and go crazy, because 9 times out of 10, you'll either miss the action or you'll just keep dying. There is such an emphasis on squad play in this game, and it really works well when you play cohesively with a squad, even if they are just randoms. The way that Tactical Ops works is you'll have, say, 3 zones, A, B, and C, but within each zone you have A1, A2, B1, B2, C1, C2, and you can only start scoring points for your team if you have both of those capture points under your control. What this means is you could have A1, B1, and C1, and the enemy could have A2, B2, and C2, and no one will be scoring any points. So what a great thing you can do is split your team into squads, and then each squad hops between 2 of the objectives, making sure that you are always fighting and contesting every single point. This adds such an intense level of depth, and when you couple that with the leaning mechanics in the movement and how everything feels with the gunplay, this game can actually feel like a really in-depth tactical shooter, but with a lot of arcadey elements that make it a lot less off-putting for a more casual audience. Something like Squad, for example, Hell Let Loose, or even Insurgency Sandstorm have quite a high level of expectation for a new player. This makes it so that not everyone feels that it's accessible to them. However, World War III does a really good job of offering the game to you in a way that you can get into it quickly and enjoy the game, but there's also a lot to grind for and a lot to work for in terms of getting better at it that will make it last longer in the long run. Now, before I finish this video, I do feel like I should just mention a few caveats to this game as to why it might not be for you at the moment. It is in early access and there have been issues. It launched about 3 or 4 weeks ago, and for the first 2 weeks, no one could really get into games because the server stability was so bad. Luckily now that has been fixed, however, there are a few other issues. For one, the audio is absolutely atrocious at the moment. Sometimes it performs really well, but sometimes guns in the third person, like if a teammate is shooting right next to you, it sounds like they're just throwing a fucking bunch of nails. It sounds like the guns are shooting with about as much ferocity as my granddad's spunk. The thing is, these things can be fixed, and I'm sure they will be, and at the moment it is a little bit weird when these sort of sound glitches happen, and if you can look past that, great, but if you can't, then maybe wait for a minute. But other than that, I really am having a great time. Other than a few little teething problems that you'd expect to see with an early access game, World War III has seriously impressed me, and I implore you guys to go and give it a go. But anyway, that's about all I wanted to talk about in this video about World War III. I, for one, am seriously impressed, and I'd like to hear what you guys think down below. Now, those of you who have watched my videos for a while will know that I love to see you who sticks around until the end. So if you're still here, I'd like you to let me know by answering this question down in the comments. Would you rather your fingernails grew 3 inches every single day, or your ears grew a centimeter a year forever? Anyway, that's it for me today. I'm Average Joel. Peace.